Let's say if none of the numbers existed and this weird world weren't collectively polite enough to abide by turn-based RPG rules, some Pokemon out there would be a whole lot more lethal. Maybe some aren't the strongest or the fastest or even the most yoked up capsule creatures around statistically, but in a more literal sense, they're definitely gonna give you a damn hard time getting some experience off them. I could make this easy on myself, hand out cop-out answers like Dialga accelerates time, it turns you into a prune, or include Arceus since he's the physical embodiment of the Infinity Gauntlet. I'm talking about this purely from like a hand-to-hand perspective, not just their powers like Arceus deleting the world. Every video about strength would be the same. So most legendaries, you're boring. So these are 10 real ones you'd probably never beat. Alakazam might seem like a standard Pokemon. Base stats might be a bit mixed. He's got some special wedge to him, yeah, sure, but you're forgetting the one number that matters here. 5,000. That wham 5k IQ. Just tell me, boss, give me a rundown here. How are you gonna beat someone with 5,000 IQ? Man has 5,000 IQ. You probably don't even know 5,000 words. And he's got psychic powers just to top it off. Just for reference, Eggman, that's right, the Dr. Contoba has an IQ of 300. And your man there blew up the moon just to... Wait, why did he blow up the moon? You think a scientist, of all people, is gonna know the repercussions of blowing up the moon? Really? Really, Ivo? You know, maybe the numbers are beefed up a bit. I mean, come on, the dude's 5 pounds shy of a literal gorilla. Alakazam, on the other hand, he'd know that's a dumb, small ape brain move. You see such hits like the Death Egg, Space Colony Arc, that Black Hedgehog, Small Brain Energy, the Humble Tablespoon, Big Brain Energy. Because Alakazam is 16.6 recurring Contobas. You know how dead that pesky hedgehog would be with 16.6 recurring Jim Carrey's gunning for him? He'd be so dead. His dead ass would be looking like the moon. And you better believe all near 17 of them Eggmen inside of Alakazam's Stronk Dome are gonna calculate every single possible way to wipe out you and your team. I feel like the only way you're gonna beat Alakazam is by being so inept that even he's mentally capped out trying to calculate why you'd attack him in such a dumb way. In a way that's so dumb, he's not even considered the possibility of it happening. Like, if you laid out a bowl of Cocoa Pops under a tree with an anvil held above it with a string on a branch, and like, well, Yazam knows there's a new white chocolate flavour he wants to dual wield his spoons in. The Cocoa Pops are worth the CTE. He's got enough brain power to spare for it. You could be as swole as Buzz, as dangerous as Makago's jowls, but that's all irrelevant when your ears are getting blown out with weaponized noise. The military can weaponize loud noise, but that's nothing compared to this... What are you even meant to be? Who can open his mouth or his pipes, whatever you want to call it, and trigger earthquakes. Exploud, he's that guy. He's that guy in the train blasting his Scandinavian tracksuit house music, except his speaker is the Glastonbury main stage. That's so easy for him. Exploud, all you gotta do is just talk. Just open your mouth, and you're done. And your Pokemon are done as well, unless you're sporting the all-star soundproof team of Mr. Mime and friends. Earthquakes 6 miles out. Pokemon incapacitated. Eardrums blown out. Chances of getting close enough for that combat, 0. Fuming, to say the least. You'd need some kind of specimen. One who's such a dirty sesh head, whose years of spirits and class A through Z have left it with only 2 of his 5 senses left. Obviously, sense of sight and sense to slump. Or grapple, card subject to change. Who could brawl their way to get an Exploud to just stop talking. Almost every area in Pokemon that isn't a main town or city is going to be dodgy to be around. You walk on grass alone, people acting like you're going across the M1. You can't go anywhere without being armed at every moment. You see here, lumberjacks bring along fire types when they're on the job. Yeah, nah, Trevenant over here, he's gonna call your bluff on that one. I'm sure even in a hypothetical Pokemon world sense, that'd be so illegal. You got horses made of fire, slugs whose jowls and everything else are made of magma, giant giant Zippo lighters walking around, they're gonna crack down on preventing forest fires way more than we do. So if there's a Trevenant who has it out for you, you better hope you catch him out of his element. Otherwise, he's gonna be surrounded by all of that bush to slap you up and trap you in. You can try and burn him down if you want, but he's gonna take you with him one way or another. Cause Trevenant is to trees what Aquaman is to creatures of the deep. Cause you're not just fighting a spooky plank of wood. Trevenant controls other trees to lock you up in its forest as if you don't have enough power stars to get out. Either that, or if it's feeling lazy, it'll just consume you there and then physically, and then your spirit's going straight into the dampest slab of wood it can find. Before you even get the chance to see Arceus at them pearly gates, or Giratina on the side of a wall, you're already sucking at the teats of Big Daddy Earth that is Trevenant. I hate using Ditto for these, because it's almost always a cop-out. So instead of the Ditto is every Pokemon thing, I'm thinking about this a little differently. Because a lot of people, or just me, probably just me, forgets that Ditto's powers aren't just limited to Pokemon. But why would they be? If one play-doughy boy can turn into God and pass judgment himself, you better believe I'm gonna need that dough into Ainsley Harriet and cook me up some of his patented Ainsley's jerk chicken ripped straight from Ainsley's barbecue Bible. If you took an average IQ Ditto, it can never really be the most difficult Pokemon to beat. It could turn into anything on this list, right? But I doubt it gets the same instincts, or I'd imagine even the full powers of something like a Trevenant. But even then, Ditto would be tricky because it sets the pace. Could turn an underground bare-knuckle fight into a game of prop hunt in seconds. Because it could turn into whatever its memory can handle. They could really be the most difficult thing to take down if it's intelligent enough to be that slippery. Every Pokemon could one day be hunted down, while this piece of goo's gonna Tom and Jerry his way to living forever. On paper, Wishiwashi may be the weakest known creature, just 5 points shy of a literal seed, but collectively as a pack, they gang up and become the demon of the sea. Formation's so strong, they drain Gyarados of all of his top energy. So collectively, they're clearly the alphas of the sea. Probably so strong it summons Aquaman to lend the assist. A Wishiwashi school using Water Gun is stronger than a Hydro Pump. Imagine they all actually used Hydro Pump. Even Kyogre gets shook thinking about that. It's alright, don't worry about Kyogre. Probably gonna miss. You'd have to slowly deplete the numbers and hope they break formation. You're just wasting your time trying to fight it. You've got to lower the school to a quarter of its health. Or I guess in this case, the amount of individual Wishiwashis. Even though they're the weakest Pokemon individually, you're still taking down 100,000! Nah, I'm guessing. No idea how many. If Dexter could spell any number, I'm gonna do the same. If you take Wishiwashi's 0.7 pounds on its own, and then you take the school form's 173.3 pounds, you're looking at almost 250 fish. I don't really know how unbeatable that's gonna be. I'd say he's got about 141 and 2/3% chance of winning any fight he comes up against. The numbers don't lie. For this one, I don't actually know how it'd work in a literal sense, because Rotom is literal plasma. Literal plasma that invades technology. You'd sooner smash up the entire curry side of PC world before you even scratch its HP. You could be smashing up a washing machine that soaks up all the damage till it jumps to the nearest TV and then you're back at step 1. The way I see it, the object is pretty much like using Substitute. Like, if your Rotom phone decides to brick, I doubt he's shut down for good. Everything's electronic now. Who knows what his potential is? He'd be more incognito than Ditto could ever be, as long as he gets creative and doesn't resort to any of the Rotom catalog devices. I'd just go into a loft, see what you can find. Doubt we're gonna be seeing a Rotom Robo Sapien form in the near future. Some Pokemon are going to be a bit rebellious. They choose not to abide by the sportsmanship of turn-based combat. If he just switches in and out of the shield form whenever he wants, then Aegislash will punk you out. With or without Pokemon. Why would you even attempt to fight one of these? You know it's gonna be in the shield form 90% of the fight, and the other 10%, this big knife's coming for you. He doesn't even need to mug you for your shoes. His special power is manipulation. Using his ghostly powers alone can force you to hand him over. Are we sure that's actually a power? His ability is to manipulate others, yeah? Because if the big sharp ghost corners you and says, "Make haste, go to Abracadabra and get me a mixed donut with a can of Rio, now." You can be the one to tell him to piss off back to Hyrule and just eat it himself. But for me, I'm already in my Deliveroo jacket. I'm en route. If the big sharp ghost commands you to build him a kingdom, then you build the big sharp ghost a kingdom. Aegislash, you don't have some special power here. You just went, "Build me a kingdom or you're getting stabbed." So not only is there no chance you'd beat Aegislash in a fight, based on Galar's dex, it could just manipulate you to pull your punches a bit, to not fight back. This one, now that I think about it, is probably the most intuitive one for me to communicate to you as to why it's near impossible to beat. Because what happens when you take the two most powerful types, arguably, and combine them with a 9 kill streak rewards? You get this actual weapon, Dragapult. A dragon, it's really hard to beat. A ghost, that'd be near impossible to beat unless you had one of your own. A military grade weapon worth millions and millions is actually impossible to beat or even defend yourself against. In case, always keep that javelin handy underneath my pillow in case a stealth bomber tries sneaking up on me tonight. In a realistic fight, all of this taken into account, along with how insanely fast it is, numbers are not, Dragapult versus any non-ghost, or maybe ice or dragon types, but even they'd have trouble catching it. That's more of a mismatch than Kyogre versus inflatable mattress Groudon. In past videos, many times have I gone on about the omniscient Iron Frisbee being a big hard man, so this time I'm going straight to the source. Because can you ever really kill Melmetal? No need for transmutation circles to spawn us some iron, which he is comprised of, as you can see. Nothing stopping him from regenerating. Guess he just felt like coming back after 3,000 years. The one way it seems you can stop him is to rust him down and then piece him up from there. But your man throws the biggest bombs out of all 900 plus Pokemon. If anyone's getting pieced up in this exchange, it's you and whatever 6 pets you clearly don't love enough having them step up against this Liquid Terminator. Even if you did rust him down, that victory is only temporary, because the remains are gonna spawn up some Meltan eventually. Before you know it, you're dealing with an entire gang of Liquid Terminators. Print them out an instruction booklet, could probably band together and rebuild their dad just so he can slump you himself. You take away all the gimmicks, all of the prop hunting, all of the Arceus is God, and this is the most unbeatable Pokemon, in my opinion. Alakazam may have mastered psychic abilities and have the intellect to out-strategize. Aegislash may be able to change forms at will, but Deoxys is the true whole package. Does it all. The full 50 chicken wings, a bev on the side, an entire round of Jaegers for the whole bar, and he's gonna make you pay the tab, because Deoxys is a proper weapon. 3 forms optimized purely to beat your ass in the most efficient way possible. And he doesn't care for your battle etiquettes. None of that Saiyan pride chat Vegeta gasses on about before he gets his hairline caved in again. Deoxys is the offspring of a laser beam and an asteroid. You think he gives a damn about your RPG conventions? Nah, Deoxys would go by instinct. He plays by street rules. He wants to switch in and out of his attack and speed form just to down you in 1 second. He's gonna do it, nothing's stopping him. He's not gonna run back and ask permission from a rock if he's allowed to get into a fight later tonight. Can even run from you if he's not feeling it. No one's catching that speed form. Whatever your game plan is, he's gonna switch.